Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. All right, you guys. I debated on should I talk about this particular subject, but you know, I'll do it now. In case you guys don't know, actual hip hop legend Ice-T, you know, basically had a run in with the boys, and you know who I'm talking about. Now, I'm going to break down what I saw in the video and give my honest opinion of what I saw happen and how Ice-T was in the wrong for one certain thing and one mistake that he made, one crucial mistake he made to where it could have turned into, you know, something really bad. I'm looking at my situation. I'm looking at what happened with Tyreek Hill. I'm looking at what happened with Ice-T. One thing about the police, the boys in blue, and particularly when you come across a person of the law that's, then again, it really may not matter whether they black or whether they another color, but you really want to try to be on your P's and Q's when, in fact, they don't look like you. Now, I was listening to the demeanor of that cop that pulled Ice-T over. He already seemed to be in a combative mood. He didn't want to listen, and based off how the situation got resolved, based off when a supervisor came, which to me proves what I've been knowing for a long time. That supervisor, he knew who Ice-T was, and he probably was thinking, probably when the camera shut off and everything, he probably told the dude who he was. And I wouldn't be surprised if the other officer knew who he was, because some officers just have it in for celebrities, especially if they you know, find them having a minor infraction of the law or violating the law. Some had this thing, oh, you think because you're famous and rich and got money, you can buy your way out of everything. So you have to watch out for that, because some of them law enforcement officers have a lot of passive aggression, which to me, an officer's job of the law is technically called a peace officer, and your job is really to keep the peace and try to de-escalate. And Ice-T was being cordial to him. Now, I listen to everybody's video. I listen to a few people's video. I listen to the homie Spider Loke. I listen to 7/8's video. I'm giving my assessment of it. Just listening to the demeanor of that officer, he already seemed to be in a combative mood. And he seemed like, to a certain degree, he knew who dude was, so he kind of like, okay, oh, you're being an asshole to me, when the dude kind of was being an asshole to Ice-T. Now, where Ice-T messed up at, Ice-T walked over to him. That's a no-no. Don't ever walk towards the officer, because you know they can do two things, well, three. They can either pepper spray you, they can body slam you, or a cacao. Now, I'm glad that police officer wasn't stupid enough to, you know, basically shoot Ice-T, because then it would have been a shitstorm. But I gotta keep it 100. Ice-T messed up by approaching. You never walk towards an officer. When they ran up on me, I stayed my distance. I stayed where I was. I did not walk towards them. If you start walking towards them, all bets are off. They can do whatever they want to do, and they can reword the report, and they can make it look like they feared for their life. But I think the dude knew who Ice-T was, and he just was like, oh, him. You have to watch that kind of stuff. Now, you see when the supervisor came, Ice-T didn't end up getting his car towed. At the end of the day, he got like 4 tickets. I think something that really irritated him, because what triggered him is when he said, yeah, a lot of people know me. He said they know me there. And then he seemed to be very triggered when he said that, because I think he knew who Ice-T was. I mean, let's just face the fact. Ice-T is a household name. Everybody, Law and Order been on for, Law and Order Special Victims Unit been on for like, what, 24 seasons? Ice-T been on there for like 20 seasons. I'm pretty sure he stumbled across an episode. I'm telling you right now, the other officer that came in, he knew who Ice-T was. And I can tell you probably when Ice-T rolled off, he probably said, do you know who that was? I guarantee you, they had a talk. But he gave Ice-T like 4 tickets. And Ice-T did say, hey, why don't you just let me, we're close. Why don't you just let me park my car? But that officer got out the car and he just seemed to be combative. And those type of officers are dangerous. And Ice-T, to be fair to him, Ice-T didn't use his celebrity status. He didn't say, hey man, do you know who I am? He could have said, but like I said, I think the officer knew who he was. You have to watch that stuff. You have to watch that stuff. Because a lot of times those officers, they have it in. A lot of them have it in for rich people. They have it in for celebrities. Some of them don't be mesmerized by celebrities and stuff. You know? So my take on the situation was, to me, they were both wrong. But at the same time, he kind of had Ice-T because Ice-T was violating the law. He was breaking the law. But at the same time, the guy could have cut him a break. He could have cut him a break. As he ended up getting cut a break. But just listening to that officer's demeanor, just like the same one that was with Tyreek Hill, he was just in a bad mood. And he just was like, he was just in a bad mood. It was no reason to have physical contact with Tyreek Hill. He overreacted. At the end of the day, he should have, when Tyreek Hill said, hey man, just give me my ticket and let me go. Because at the same time, Tyreek Hill just say, okay, I was speeding, give me my ticket. Like, why further sit up there and be combative and all this stuff about you need to respect me and all this kind of stuff? At the end of the day, they people like me and you. When do we get to the point to where you get outside your authority? When did it get to the point to where, okay, you just harassing me? My situation, like I said, I was outside my car. My car was not running. I was eating outside my car in peace. And then here they come. And then they walked from like possibly 200 yards to come over there. So I already knew that they was like trying to conjure up a reason to try to bother me. Talking about, oh, the person said that you hit their car, and I'm like, dude, I didn't hit their car. And when I said Fourth Amendment rights, he knew, okay, he one of them, he know what's up. I wasn't, hitting somebody's car is not is not breaking the law. It's not a crime. It's an accident. And then he knew I didn't hit nobody's car, and he knew that I knew the law. So that's the difference between me and what happened with Ice-T. Gotta keep it a buck. Ice-T, where he fucked up at, he walked over there where that dude was saying, give me my stuff. And then he came across as aggressive, but at the end of the day, it did seem like that officer was provoking him, because Ice-T was trying to talk cordial. My thing is, and this is real talk, you are a sworn officer. You are a peace officer. If you are having a bad day, if you woke up on the wrong side of bed, you should call in. If you have a bad attitude on a regular basis, you shouldn't be walking around with a badge and a gun, because that could lead to trouble. Trouble your way or the other person's way. Because we didn't have too many of these type of incidents. So somebody just got to keep it real. Both of them were wrong. In the situation, I would have just, the officer should have just said, you know what, I'm going to give you these tickets. And he told him he was going to the DMV. But you see, at the end of the day, Ice-T ended up, winning when it was all said and done. He didn't get his car towed. Like I said, I listened to that police officer. That dude was aggressive. He got out the car with an attitude. And I stand on everything I say. If you are combative and you have a bad attitude, and you confrontational, you doing the wrong job. That cop was way too emotional. So that's my take on the situation. Anyway, it's your boy Town. I'm out.